Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 61 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. Today I'm keeping an eye on my Void Miner Mark II. And I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit slow. And by a little bit slow, I mean it's really kind of slow. So I've not that we're like hurting for resources, but I really do want to kind of tech up environmental tech, and it's almost funny because with the Void Ore Miner, my priority is getting like the environmental tech crystals that we need for the next tier of environmental tech, and it's almost like all the resources that we're getting, like, you know, all the different stuff, is like a side effect. It's hilarious. But I'm curious to see if I have what I need to make a tier 3 Void Ore Miner, just so we could kind of start getting the tier 4 material, Palladium Crystal. Yeah. So we're getting Chironite crystals, right? We've got a healthy amount of them, actually. So to get a tier 3 Void Ore Miner controller, we're going to need 6 blocks of those, and it looks like we're also going to need a block of diamond. Not a big deal. So we're going to want like 6 blocks of these dudes. Cool. And then if we want structure frames tier 3, because that's what we're going to need. So we need 2 Chironite per structure frame that we're going to want. So let's snag out of this here box this dude. Boing, boing. There we go. So in order to get the next tier, we're going to need 56 structure frame tier 3, which means we're going to need about 112 Chironite crystals. And I think we have a little bit less than that, right? Yeah, we have 93. So we're not far off. We need like 20 more of these dudes and then we'd be good, I think. And then we could get like a tier 3. And then to go along with that, let's see, there's 4 modifiers in this tier, but there's 8 in the next tier. And we could do a few things with modifiers from environmental tech, which would be neat. We could definitely take a look at, let's see, environmental tech modifier. So there's 4 of them. There's the speed, the piezo, and the accuracy. So speed makes it run more quickly. Accuracy makes it so that when you have a specific lens type, it will be more accurate. So like, for example, right, when we look at this, it's like a 5.5% chance with the crystal lens, right? If we put an accuracy modifier, it might go up higher. I don't know the exact number that it goes up, so I'm not sure in what way it goes up. But then like the speed modifier also makes it go faster. So I don't know. We'll try maybe a couple accuracies and a bunch of speeds. That's probably where we would be at. So I'm guessing the best approach for right now might be a little of this. So I'll come back in a minute. I want to speed upgrade this guy a little bit just to get him to the point where we've got like 20 more of these things, and then I'd like to upgrade this thing to tier 3. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the 4 speed upgrades because we now have mica, right? So we should be able to autocraft speed upgrades and modifiers for this environmental tech thing, and that'll just help me. So it'll speed it up without the wand, right? But then it'll speed it up even more with. So let's throw these in here. And you kind of saw in the last segment what the speed looked like without the speed modifiers in it. So I'm going to remove the null modifiers. And I'm going to install these dudes. And let's try and put our magnet back on and see if we run into any other issues with it. I've kind of had my magnet off the last few episodes because, not that I'm having issues with it, but like, you know, we're doing stuff that magnet interferes with, basically. Cool. Alright, so with those 4 things in, we should be a little bit better now. So are you running more quickly? So let's see how fast or how much more. Yeah, that's definitely faster. You guys saw from the last segment that, you know, oh yeah, that's a huge improvement. So now if okay, yeah, wow, that quickly, that really makes a difference, doesn't it? Holy cow. We might want to look at getting the top tier Flux Ducks going on here. What do we got for Flux Ducks, guys? So there's 2 more options, right? We could go with Resonant Flux Ducts, which are cool. That'll bump me up from 16,000 ARFA tick, which I've got now, to 25,000. Or we could go Cryo Stabilize, which doesn't have a limit. We're not quite at the point where cryostabilize is going to make any sense for us, but that's okay. I could maybe go resonant. I should at least like teach this thing how resonant flux ducts are made. So resonant flux ducts is simply 3 signalum, 3 redstone, and an inderium ingot. That ain't terrible. Or you can put destabilized redstone into one of these dudes. I think what I'll do is just do the sequential upgrade, right? Because the way this works is it's that plus the empty flux ducts. So there's no sense in making this and then filling it with redstone, because I already have it filling redstone for this one. So I'm just going to teach it this recipe and call it a day. Also, one of the things I might get into either this episode or very soon. So by the way, can I do flux ducts resonance now? Yay. Can I get like 40 AU? Would that be a terribly improper thing to ask? Probably not. We'll let that roll. So yeah, speed upgrading this really doesn't seem to help much because we have nowhere near enough power to support the speed upgrade. But like by like default, this thing's running a lot more quickly now. So that's kind of cool. All right, back in a minute. Interestingly though, we're definitely using like 5,000 RF a tick. So huge change in terms of, you know, power usage here. From what it was before, it was like around 1,000 or 1,500, right? So faster, but also more energy hungry. Makes sense. By the way, guys, looks like something changed in the pack. Signalum blend used to be 2 signalum blend, 1 sand is 2 ingots. Now it's 1 to 1. So FYI, keep that in mind. Update your recipes. So guys, I was keeping an eye on my compact machine room that's currently doing a relatively decent job of maintaining things and processing, but we're out of petroleum. And the reason we're out of petroleum is because we ran out of clay. So let's go take a look at that. Yeah, so if we pop down into here, we'll see that some of our machines are stuck, specifically the pulverizer here and the pulverizer here that are responsible for doing things because they're out of petroleum, right? And the reason we're out of petroleum is we have plenty of obsidian and basalts and all that stuff, but we never did automate clay, and now feels like a good time as any because we need it. And we actually have like a really good and cool way of doing it too, because we have a pretty high level tier of Astral Sorcery going on. So kind of curious. So over here, this guy's doing a pretty good job. I'm just curious like how fast you would be if you only had one to focus on. Now clearly it's like rainy and daytime, so this is like the least efficient time to potentially do this. You're still, oh wow, look at you. You are really low on power, aren't you? Okay, no wonder this thing's taking so long. Wonder if I could like sleep. It's probably not in a position where I can sleep. It's probably a thunderstorm or something like that. But yeah, we are surprisingly low on power. Unless like, you know, there's starlight going into this and that's why this thing looks low. But I'm assuming it's because it's rainy out. It's like bad weather. All right, so you make clay. It's not that quick right now. So maybe I could, how could we do this? So let's think about different ways we could set this up. I'm thinking the most efficient way. Well, there's a couple different ways. Let's do this. Let's get a block placer. An auto placer, yes. And let's get a crafter. Do I want to do crafter or do I want to do keep in stock? I might want to do keep in stock so that we have a certain amount of clay in stock at all times. Yeah, let's do that way. Instead of crafting on demand with this, I want to do keep in stock clay. So in that case, what I'm going to do is get a constructor and a destructor, which I may not have taught this thing how to make, but I'm doing that now because I have my dire derp. Destructor. So that will, so constructors place blocks and destructors break blocks. And I'm pretty sure they won't break with Silk Touch unless you give them a Silk Touch upgrade. Therefore, what's going to happen is when we break clay, we will get clay instead of blocks of clay, which we don't want, right? So that's cool. So we've got that stuff. We might want also a detector of some kind. Yeah, refined storage detector would be nice to have. And then we're going to want like a lot of refined storage cabling. So let's get like a stack of that or so, and some sand. And that should be pretty good. All right, so doing a little experimenting, I discovered something. When I had this collector crystal linked to all these blocks here, like these 4, even if it wasn't operating on them, it was reducing the amount of starlight that the altar got. So like, yeah, that's faster. So simply by having this linked here, right? So like, I'll link them, right? And that's reducing the starlight that the altar gets. See, significant drop, regardless of the fact that it's daytime or cloudy or whatever. So it wasn't because it was cloudy, it was because I had it linked to multiple blocks. And even when it's done working on these blocks, it will continue to not be strong. So that's kind of good to know. So let's set up a little bit of automation with how we'd like this to work. So what I'm thinking we would do, you probably need line of sight to that, right? So like, check this out, right? I remove these blocks, and you still, even though you're not doing anything to these blocks, the beams are still there, so that's bad. So what I'm gonna wanna do is unlink you, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4. This one will stay linked. And now if we go look at our Astral dude, he should be getting lots of power again. Nice. And this one's gonna operate more quickly now, which is pretty cool. So we'll put down here, let's put our destructor, right? So let's make you granite for now. I don't know. I don't even know if granite does anything, but we'll find out. And then I'd kind of like this to be a little bit hidden, but I'm pretty sure I can't link this any lower. So let's see if you can like link to something you don't have line of sight to, right? Is there any chance that would work? I want to say probably not, but I think I have a way to make it work. I think I do. Where's my Astral Sorcery book? There's a thing we can do about this. I believe the spectral lens here should work. So we're going to want a couple resonating gems. Illumination powder, glass lens. So let's see. A couple aquamarines. Illumination powder. Stardust. Glass lens. You guys are going to want to get upgraded with the resonating wand. Go. Always with that. I got to figure out a way to automate that so that these things are always taken care of. A bucket, please. So that that doesn't happen anymore. Cool. So that looks good. Go on now. Thank you. Did you do the thing again? You did. Which one of these is missing? This one. There we go. Nice. All right. So in preparation or advance of doing this. So let's see. If I take you and unlink this one, because that's not working, obviously, right? What we're going to do is make this spectral lens, which should allow me to transmit starlight through blocks. And then I can have this thing hidden underground so that it's not above ground and obvious, right? So lens, illumination powder on the sides. You, and you. And is it just in the far corners? Yeah, okay, that looks cool. And you can go away for a minute. So now the other thing we're going to want to go along with this is a glass lens. And one of them should be all we need. And maybe we'll stick it here. Now this should give me my spectral lens, which I can put on this dude. Sweet. That's kind of nifty. And what I'm going to do is bind you. Now let's just watch, right? So fully charged, bind you to here, right? And now that should be a little bit less power going into this, but that's okay. Now underground, let's do it maybe one more. So I'd like you to kind of beam directly down to this block, right? So this will be the block that we convert to clay. And then we just need to do this to that. And it should beam straight through the solid matter, right? And that should be cool, in theory. Doesn't look like it is, but it should be. Pretty sure that's the point of the spectral lens. Now it says it weakens the beam a little bit, so it might take a little longer to convert to clay, but it should work. All right, cool. So it looks to me like, for whatever reason, going straight down didn't work, but putting it here and then directing it there did. So that's cool. So now, when I place sand here, it'll get converted to clay. Sweet. So that's nice, because what that's going to help me to do, I'm going to get some sand. I'm also going to get some sandstone just to be ready. So what I'm going to want here is basically... yeah, you're going to just be a nuisance, aren't you? This is what I get for building in a desert biome. But that's all right, we'll manage. All right, so let's connect this up to our refined storage system so we can get constructors and destructors and everything working over here. So I'll be back in a second once I run this cabling off camera. All right, you know what, guys? I changed my mind. As much fun as it sounds like to run a bunch of cabling, I could just do wireless. So that's what I'm gonna do. So another network transmitter. Where have I been building my network transmitter subs? There we are. So you can go there, network transmitter. Over here, we'll put our receiver, and then we'll configure this appropriately. Yay for wirelessness. So what we'll do... Why are there monsters here? There shouldn't really be monsters spawning. But that happens every now and then. I've reported it to the Astral Sorcery mod author. He's like, yeah, it's weird. It should be preventing mob spawns. It's definitely got enough power. So I think there's something a little bit weird. He's looking into it right now to figure out why every now and then that ritual up top like stops preventing mob spawns. Okay, so you're cool. Right, so we'll get that going. So let's set up our destructor on here. We'll set up our constructor on here. We'll set up our network receiver here. We will bind the card. Linked. Cool. I should probably configure that a little better, but we'll figure it out. So when I do this, it should break that block over there once I put this in here. It's linked. So that clay should be gone now, in theory. Cool. Okay. Now, can I filter clay on you, or do I have to do clay block? That I'm not 100% sure of, but we'll find out. So that, you'll do your thing. And let's see if it converts to clay and then immediately sucks it up, because that would be awesome. Go on now. You can do it. Okay, no. But that's all right, because I could try this, and this should work. Nice. That's what's up. Okay, cool. So then if I put you here, you should place sand, and that'll be good. So I'm going to set this thing to only work either one, really. It doesn't matter which one I set to be redstone mode. I guess I'll make this one redstone mode only. And then we'll put our level emitter thingy detector here. And we're going to want to search for clay. And let's say 256 clay, right? Emit signal when under this amount. So you can see it's emitting a redstone signal now because it's less than 256. Nice. So if we made it, so for example, let's make it like 64, right? Just for testing purposes. So we still have less than 64, so it's going to keep running. If we check in our refined storage system, which we can't see, for clay. Oh, are you picking up the actual blocks? Because that's annoying. Please don't tell me you're picking up the actual blocks. Actually, it might be feeding the clay it picks up into the thing. So let's see. Oh, no, it doesn't. Good. Okay. Sweet. So that clay is probably coming in from our stuff. So I'm going to break all this and watch this actually work. Sweet. So now if I stick all this clay in the system, that light should turn off, and that'll tell me that we've built this correctly. And it should stop placing sand as well, right? So let's put our this away, put our clay away. So now the light turned off. Cool. See, it's off. It's no longer emitting a redstone signal. And since you're configured to only work when you're receiving a redstone signal, once this clay is converted and broken, it should no longer place sand. Beautiful. That's what I wanted to see. Nice. All right, so I'm going to bump this up to 256 again. Does that sound fair? Now it's emitting a redstone signal, and we're good. So let's cover this all up with sand. Nice. Clay automation. That's cool. And that should have helped in here with our compact machine. And you've got tectonic petroleum again. Beautiful. That's what I wanted to see. All right, nice. And how are you doing for tectonic petroleum? Pretty good. And now we're just processing a bunch of this stuff, right? So you're actually okay. Nice. Beautiful. Everything's actually working perfectly. That's what I like to see. Very, very nice. All right, back up and running. Clay automation. We are now really in good shape with that compact machine room. Clay was kind of like one of the last things we didn't automate. Now, did I get... Nice, I got enough chironite while I was doing all that work. So that's cool. So I can put all this stuff away. Let's break down our tier 3 void miner, or tier 2, and bump it up to a tier 3. Does that sound cool? So I'm just going to remove all this stuff for a minute. You guys can all go away. That's right, I think I have to... There we go. So I'm going to want that guy to wind up being in a better place, but that's all right, we'll fix that in a sec. So you can go away, you... Actually, I probably want my multimeter, because I want to measure stuff in a minute here. Everything else I'll hang on to for the time being. I was debating whether I wanted to do Clayconia or Astral Sorcery, but since I haven't done Astral Sorcery really much ever before, I went that route. All right, back in a minute. All right, so upgrading this guy to a Void or Miner tier 3 sounds cool. And then we want 56 Structure tier 3, right? So I've got Structure, I've got 32 tier 2s, so I want to learn how to make Structure tier 3s, which is basically this. So I should be able to request 56 of those. Hey, 56 of those in a moment. Did you put down any more? You did. Structure panels. Goofy. Stop being that. You're still there, right? Good. Okay. And you didn't place any more blocks down? Funny down here? Okay. So structure tier 3s. I've got 32. I want 56, right? 56, tier 3. Good, I've got everything I need to make that. So that'll take a moment. And then in the meantime, we also need 4 more null modifiers. Now, they could be speed modifiers if I wanted to, but I'm going to make them null for now. Actually, I already have 4 null modifiers. Well, we'll use them later, I guess. So I've got enough null and speed modifiers, so that's actually fine. And then structure panels... I've got 16 and I need 56, so I need 40 more structure panels. Cool. So structured frame tier 3, nice. Structure panels are on the way. And then I need 4 laser cores and 1 laser lens. So I need 1 more laser core. And that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And then how's my 40 structures coming in? Nice. So that should be enough to make a tier 3. One of these dudes. Now I kind of want it to be in the same spot again, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to start placing it, and hopefully not have too much of a problem here with spacing. Yeah, we might have a problem with spacing. We shall see. Are you gonna tell me if you're running into like a problem with spacing, or are you just gonna like not say a word? Probably the latter. Let's do this. I'm just gonna clear out a bunch of space so that we have plenty of room for this. And then hopefully that'll be good. I'm not sure how much space this thing actually needs. So I'm just going to give it a little bit more room. Not intended there. Doot. Where was this thing? It was here. So with a little bit more room, hopefully this will behave a little bit better. There we go. You can see it building stuff down there, which is cool. Man, this thing gets really big, and it's only tier 3. Remember, we have a lot more tiers to go. So you've got 4 more structure panels to place, apparently, and then you're good. So where might they go? 4 more structure panels, huh? You might need to go out here. Would that be accurate? Maybe? Or do we have extra structure panels? I don't know. We'll find out. Hold on. I want to get a crate here. Are you running? Oh, you're running. Okay, so we're good. So do we get a few extra structure panels? Probably. My bad. No big deal. Nice. So if this thing's running, we're good. So then let's rerun our cabling here the way it was. We can take you out of here before I start destroying my base too much. And then we should be able to import bus here. And this dude. Sweet. Wow, okay, cool. We're getting a lot of stuff already. That's really fast. Multimeter, how are we doing? Wow, is that really how much power we're using? That can't be right. Oh, okay, no, it's cool. 6,200. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Now, if I threw some accuracy modifiers in there, that would be my next question, right? What's involved in making those? A bunch of mica. So, you know what? I don't know if I'll even want to... Well, I could probably automate them. I think you'll have to learn how to make diamond blocks, though. Yeah. So an accuracy modifier should make it so that I get even more of that stuff, that environmental tech stuff, because I'm using the crystal lens. So if I got 4 of those, because remember we have 8 total modifiers on the tier 3. We've used 4 for speed, and we had 4 as null. This should make it a little bit better. Now, we were using around 6150 on average for this dude. Oh, I see you calmed down a little bit. Cool. So like right around 6,000-ish, right? So I'm curious if swapping out accuracy modifiers is going to make this more costly in terms of RF. By the way, you can totally build this by hand if you want to, but, you know, that thing is awesome. So why wouldn't you? So yes, it bumped it up to about 7,000 RF a tick, but that should give me a higher chance of getting that new crystal stuff. So in fact, what I'm going to do is turn you off for a minute, only work with redstone signal, and we should be seeing more litherite and erodium coming in. I don't know what percentage change it is. I don't know if it's like 10% now, but I'm going to leave this thing off for a few minutes, and we'll see what happens. And I presume Wand of Speed upgrade is not going to make much of a use. So let me fill in my floor off camera, and we will be right back. All right, this thing's been running for a few minutes here, and you can see we've gotten quite a decent amount of Erodium, Litherite, Palladium, and Chironite. So accuracy modifier plus speed modifier equals win. I like it a lot. So I will let this thing start importing again. I'll just tell it to ignore. Ignore or off. It's pretty much the same thing. But I usually like to use ignore, just, you know. Not that I would ever have a redstone source down there. Also, how's our clay situation? If I'm right, we should be sitting around 256 clay. Pretty darn close. That is cool. I'm liking it. All right, let's wrap up the episode here. We'll come back next time. We've got a tier 3 void ore miner now, which is nice. How's my power situation, though? Technically, we're officially losing power now. Sweet. That is cool. So no wand of acceleration needed. We are literally at the point where we are losing energy just from that machine downstairs. So we're burning through these two fuel types. So a couple options, obviously. We could throw more turbines on our Manualin turbine advanced generator dude, and that would generate more R per tick for the cost of more fuel, which based on the amount of resources we have, that wouldn't be a problem. But the other thing we could do is look into new mods that we haven't played with in a while, or ever. So we might look at some of that. But for now, Darryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.